The views and opinions expressed by the podcast host and guests are personal and do not reflect the views of any entity, organization, or person referenced. The discussion and any information shared on this episode are for informational and entertainment purposes only. Furthermore, the appearance of any guest on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement of the individual's views, products, or services by the host. We provide a platform for diverse perspectives, and by tuning in, you acknowledge that you may or may not agree with the opinions expressed by our guests. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this first session or our first guest. Today we have Durga Madhuswamy. So basically, he's a very close friend, and he's been working in US in the research area. So we have studied together, we have struggled together, and there have been a lot of things that we have done together. So today he's a renowned scientist in one of the very prestigious institutes yeah, in US. So yeah, hi Durga, how are you? Durga, you're
Like
not
it's
not
going on.
audible. Durga. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I'm audible?
Yes. Now it's fine. Yes, please.
Okay. Hi, how are you? How is life going on?
All good. All good. God's grace.
Uh, Okay.
Okay. So
So,
Durga, can you
uh,
please help us
thank you.
understand or
Thank
yeah,
you
good,
for
good, good.
podcast.
Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me your podcast. I am really thrilled to be a part of your podcast. And maybe, if I can answer a few of your questions, uh, that we
Okay. So Durga, can you please help us? Your voice is still breaking a bit. So can you just fix that one?
it's 2 minutes.
Sure, sure. Okay. So Durga, our very first question. So I'll go through the topic of these series of podcasts that I'm doing. So the topic of these podcasts is heroes lesser known. I mean, in our day to day life, there are many people who contribute a lot in the field of science or in any other field, but they're not the Elon Musk, but they're still contributing quite significantly in their careers. So I what I understand, you have been a major contributor in your field. So just wanted to know, looks, how did you get there? How was your journey?
Okay, this is a very very nice question, and also the answer is not so easy because the struggle, the journey is not so straightforward. Because after completing my graduation, I master degree in SRM University in Tamil Nadu,
Can you
Chennai.
can you go take us through like what in what field you did your graduation so that our audience can know? Yeah.
So my graduation was just in biotechnology, BTech, Bachelor in Technology from Odisha. Then I joined master degree in technology, that is MTech in biotechnology from SRM University, Chennai. It is in Tamil Nadu. Then after that, most of my classmates go for job, industrial job. But from the day I started my career as a biotechnologist, I have a desire to join a scientific research career in biotechnology. So I decided after MTech to pursue my PhD. So for that, uh, I first joined CRRI as a fellow. CRRI, Cuttack, Central Rice Research Institute, which comes under ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture. research. So after doing research in CRRI, after 4 5 months, I shifted to JNU School of Life Science and first pre-PhD research in JNU, and and it was in plant stress, which was very hottest topic in life science, particularly in plant biology. So I started my pre-PhD research in School of Life Science. Then I shifted to ICGB for my PhD program. That is, the ICGB is a renowned DBT institution. It comes under Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, and ICGB stands for International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology in New Delhi. It is located in Aruna Asaf Ali Marg, New Delhi. So I started my PhD career there under Professor Dr. Narendra Tuteja. He was an eminent plant biologist and he retired in 2015, I think, 15 or 16. And my joint supervisor was Professor Vaishnav Chandra Tripathi from School of Life Science in JNU. He was a renowned photobiologist, not only in India, but throughout the world. And he's from Odisha. He's a renowned scientist from Odisha. So I started my PhD career, and it took me almost 7 to 7.5 years to complete my PhD in science. After completing my PhD, then I joined as a postdoctoral scientist in the in a another DVT institute that is known as NIPGR, and it stands for National Institute of Plant Genome Research. It's a premier institute, and it is the only plant biology institute which whose scientific production is very high quality, and its research publication is also very high quality. And it is also funded by Department of Biotechnology, and it comes under DBT. So after doing my 3 years 3 years postdoctoral research in NIPGR in plant pathology, that is otherwise known as molecular plant microbe interaction, I shifted to United States to one of the most prestigious university in the world, that is, and it is a Ivy League universities. And I started my research postdoctoral research in United States in 2021.
So what was the institute
Then
again? I could not hear that. Yeah.
it was University of California, San Diego,
Can
UCSD,
okay.
and it was one of the most prestigious university in the world, and it comes under Ivy League universities of the US. And recently, the Nobel Prize in 2025 from University of California makes history, as it in 1 week it produces 5 Nobel laureates from a single university. So, though I got different postdoc offer my from different universities in the world, but I have a strong interest in my postdoc research in the Ivy League universities, just like Stanford, Harvard, Caltech, or University of California, Oxford, Cambridge, just like that. So I prepared for that, and I prepared my application from for 1.5 years to California. And after 1.5 year of application process of interview, lot of things going on, then I reached University of California, San Diego. Then after doing 1.5 year research, I moved to University of Missouri, Columbia, another institution, and there I started the hottest topic of biological science, those is known as genome engineering. I did my research particularly on plant pathogen interaction using genome engineering technology. And that is in 2020, the Nobel Prize was given to Jennifer of University of California, Berkeley, for discovering that CRISPR-Cas genome engineering. So I started my research and continued up to 3 years. Then in 2024, I moved to Florida to join the industry as a scientist in microbiology. And currently, I am pursuing my career as a scientist in microbiology in that industry. That is the long journey to 18 years to reach there.
Okay. So what I understand, like it took you almost 18 years to reach there, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's huge. And so for people those who are starting their career in biotechnology, so I know, like getting into MTech, because I have also done MTech, so I know, like getting into a premier institute from MTech, there are two paths. So either you can do it through GATE, or else there
Hmm.
are some other degrees, like either there are some non-government institutes also which are very good, like SRM being one of them, and there are also other places like Birla and other places where
IIT also
which
is
is
one of them. Vellore Institute of Technology. That is
Vellore is also one of the others.
very
So I mean, if someone wants to get into, like someone has done MTech, so what is the process to get into? I mean, I'm talking about especially biotechnology because you are in that field. So, what is the process of getting into a PhD from biotechnology? Is there a specific path, or how does someone get into that?
okay. So this is a very nice question. This is very relevant to a student who wants to pursue his career in life science or biotechnology. So s- there are mainly two ways to carry out PhD in biotechnology. But the first and last important thing is depends upon your interest. Because if a person wants to carry out his dream in research, then in that case he should do PhD. Otherwise, he should not carry PhD just for everyone is doing PhD. I will also do PhD. No, that is not the case, because in PhD in life science really itself is a struggle, because it took me almost 6 and 7 people in ISC Bangalore are struggling to submit their thesis because they are also taking 7 to 8 years. So PhD itself is a struggle. It's a whole struggle. So people who wants to do research, they should do PhD. Otherwise, after MTech, they can join industry, they can do job, anything they want to do. But people who wants to do really research and wants research as a career, then they should do PhD. So there are two ways. One thing, you can qualify GATE, and you can go to IIT, NIT, and you can just simply register for your PhD. That is one way. Second thing, if you are
Sorry to
MTech,
interrupt. So
then
after MTech, we have to qualify GATE for to get into PhD. That's what you're
for,
saying.
for
Okay.
IITs and NITs, okay. For
Okay.
engineering
Okay.
institute, for if you
Okay.
want to carry out your PhD in a science institute, so there are two ways also. One thing, if you can qualify NET or any nationalized entrance, that is like CSR NET, DBT NET, you can go to any science institute to pursue your PhD. Otherwise, there is another option. There is a common entrance test is governed by the Central University exam. That is that is a common test for all the central universities in India. So you have to qualify that test to take admission in PhD in all the central universities of your choice, and the according to your score, you will get a choice one or two, and you can take PhD admission. There are three other different ways to you can take
So
PhD.
you said four options. One is through GATE for premier
Uh,
for IIT or engineering institutes. Second one is
uh,
through DBT or CS or I
CSR
mean
net, CSR net,
NET,
hmm.
CSR net, and then there is DBT net,
Hmm. DBT net,
and then you
CSR
said
net, ICMR, JRF, any
okay,
nationalized entrance.
okay, and then you said there is also another exam, CET, for all the PhDs.
Carrying out a test for a PhD program. And there is another option. People who wants to particularly do PhD in NCBS, JNCS, or TIFR, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, JNCSR, NCBS, or RCB, Regional Center for Biotechnology. They are also doing a combined entrance, and they can also qualify that test, and they can take the PhD program. So there are three,
And if
four
someone
options.
Okay, and if someone has not qualified any of these tests, is there still a way of doing it? Like if someone is doing a research on a specific field with some publications, can he or she go into
Yes,
PhD
there is
with?
another option. There is another option called as ACSIR. It was introduced to few years ago. The condition for registering a PhD under ACSIR is you must have 2 years research experience. You must have
Okay.
first author publication, and you can join a PhD program in any CSR institute in India. That is another option. Another option is you can go to any state university, apply personally for if you qualify the entrance exam, then you have to sit for the interview for the PhD process. If you qualify, then you can also register for PhD. See, there are lot of ways you can join as a PhD student in different organization of the India. But most important is what you do in your PhD in 5 to 6 years. That is the most important thing. I have seen lot of people who qualifies NET in and join PhD program in a nationalized institution like ICTP, JNU, NCCS, NCBS. But at the end of the day, after 6 years, 7 years, they have nothing. They have not a single publication. So if you, I can explain my case or explain someone's case in like a very simple manner. If someone pass the 10th exam or the board exam, what is the documentary evidence he will produce? That is the 10th certificate, board certificate, correct? Yes,
Yeah.
that he can show that he has passed the 10th exam. If you have done qualitative or research in your PhD, what is the documentary evidence you will produce? So only because of your publications and facts. If you can show that, then you have done. It is naturally understandable that you have done qualitative research in your PhD. Otherwise, it is not that I have just joined PhD after 5 and 6 years. I completed my PhD. I submitted my thesis. Okay, just a PhD degree. And there are a lot of people in India doing like this. And that's why the value of PhD is becoming lower and lower. The qualitative research is going down, but the number of PhD is going up. That's the problem.
Okay. And I mean, can you just explain the viewers regarding the publications? Are there any specific publication houses or specific paper? I mean, publishers whose where we publish has more weightage, or anywhere it makes sense.
Yes. You can search for the means that depends completely upon your area of study. In my case, my area was plant molecular biology or plant pathogen interaction. You can take it. So in plant science, if you means journals are categorized according to the score. Means according that is known as in scientific term, it is known as impact factor. So if you want to publish research in a high impact journal, you have to work day and night and bring the qualitative data and which is reproducible and which can be acknowledged by other scientists of the world. That is most important because you cannot tell that I have done this and the result is positive. You can publish. No, the paper will be reviewed by 2 3 reviewers of different institute, and they will review that your data is good, reproducible. Then the journal will publish. The high impact journal take good quality reproducible data. So if you want to publish it, suppose I am giving an example. So the double helical structure of DNA was given by Watson and Crick was published in Nature, the most prestigious journal in the world. Just like Nature, there is another journal called Science, another journal called Cell. They are the most prestigious journal in the world. In today's scenario, the impact factor of Nature, I think it is around 60. So, so the discovery was path breaking, and it was so important that it was published in Nature. So that's why the quality of the research must be reflected in the impact factor of the journal. If you produce a low quality research, it will be published in a low quality journal. So in PhD, you should try at least publish one first author paper in 5 or 6 minimum impact. So that then it will justify that your research is good quality. At least publish one first author paper in 5 or 6 impact, depending upon your area of study.
And are there minimum number of papers that is needed for getting into a good institute for postdoc or for industry?
That also depends upon lab to lab. That is not institute wise vary. Because I went to a lab in University of California, one of the most prestigious lab, Professor Julian Scudder. He is one of the pioneer in plant molecular biology, particularly in ABA signaling in plants. So that was at least a paper, first or third paper having impact factor more than 10. Without a paper having impact factor more than 10, you cannot apply to that lab. That's the most. Just like if you want to go to Professor Jonathan, he's in University of Cambridge, and he's a pioneer of plant pathogen interaction. And another professor, he in collaboration with him is Jeffrey Dongle. He's in University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. So to go into such lab, you need at least a author paper more than 10 impact. And if you go to wants to go to a mediocre lab, then paper, 2, 3 papers, then you can go to mediocre lab. So to go to the top labs, just like I can take the name of another professor is there in the Professor Wigel in Max Planck Institute. He works particularly on Arabidopsis, and Professor Gia Parker in Max Planck Institute. They are top quality scientists in plant science. So to enter into that lab, you need a high impact paper, first author paper, because in paper the first author and the corresponding author is the backbone of the paper. Because the first author contributes 70 to 80% of the work of the research, and the corresponding author is considered as he has means mentored all the research work in his lab. So the first author and the last author, corresponding author, is considered the backbone of the paper. If you publish a paper as a first author, in impact factor more than 10, you have definitely a chance to go to the top laboratory of the world.
Okay. And how does it affect, like, if your paper has been citations, paper citation, how does it help? I mean, just to for my
That
viewers,
is
yeah,
a
can you
different
explain
aspect.
citation, and does do you think like it has an effect on the paper?
Yeah, means that is a completely different aspect. See, means it doesn't matter that whether your paper published in Nature or Science, and it doesn't matter your paper published in Current Science. If means I have seen a paper which is published less than one impact, I've been cited 2,000 times. But I have also seen a paper, the paper which is published in Science and Nature, cited more than 200 times. So citation is good, but that doesn't carry a significant thing in your research career. Citation is
Okay.
good, but in particularly in research, people are very good scientists, very eminent scientists, and they have done significant job in their respective field, but they means they don't have that significant citation. I have seen in India also and also in abroad. They are doing a lot of good things, but they have not good citations. So citation is completely different aspects related to the quality of research. Quality of research, citation are completely different.
So, what is the difference in research when it comes to US and when it comes to India?
Oh, that's a hell and heaven difference. India, the students who are doing research always stand in the comfort zone. Comfort zone means there is no means except few institutes, just like NCBS, JNCSR, ISC Bangalore, excluding those 4, 5 institutes. Almost all institutes, people are staying in their comfort zone. But in US, that is not the case because the US, the grant funding, it is product oriented. If the product is there, the funding will continue. If the product is not there, the funding will suddenly discontinue. That is most problem. And the biggest pressure on the PI is that the to create the product from the students. So they will pressurize you. Means it's just like a fifth day of the test match where India and Pakistan are struggling. So the pressure is very immense in the United States, not only in US but also in Germany. The pressure is very immense. I have not visited other countries, but I have friends from my batch during my PhD, who are doing postdoc in other countries in Europe, in Germany, in France, in the UK. But they said after US, Germany is the another epitome of research. But in India, the research is going on, but people who are doing research and the students who are doing research always stay in their comfort zone, excluding 5, 6 institutions. I have felt that.
So I've seen like people. I mean, the end goal what I've seen in especially in research, it's not oriented for industry. It's just the topic
Mm.
they take, and then they get something. They get couple of publications, and that is their end goal, just to publish it. And is it really necessary for a researcher or someone who is doing PhD to target the industry?
Upon the area of research again. So there are two aspects of research. Particularly in our case, biological science, there are two institutes. One is product-oriented research, another is discovery-oriented research. So engineering institute are mainly working on the product-oriented research. Those will go to the industry next level. But basic science research institute, they work on the discovery-oriented research. They discover certain things that will be utilized in product. So there are two different ways. You cannot compare orange to apple to apple will be compared. So, so the basic science research institute, just like NIPGR, where I have worked, uh, ICGB, School of Life Science, JNU, then again another institute in TIFR, that is known as its Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. So these kind of institutes only work for discovery mode. But now government is telling the basic science research institute also to do research for product oriented. And also now from NIPGR at least lots of variety has been released in different plants, and they are going to the next level field check, and after field check and after validation they will be utilized as variety and they will be given to farmers. So now the scenario is changing slowly, but mainly there are two different ways. One is product oriented, which go to the industry to the next level, and another is discovery oriented, scientific discovery.
And how viable is, like, someone who is coming from an average family, okay, who how viable is, financially, how viable is pursuing a career in PhD?
That is another good question, but it is little bit difficult. To be honest, I am telling it is little, not little bit. It's very difficult because what happened in PhD, uh, you register as a PhD student in an institution or a university, then your fellowship starts for 5 to 6 years, 5 years, mostly 5 years
And
to
how much is
three
that
plus two.
normally?
Normally, when I have started, it was around 25,000, 20 to 25,000. Now it
It's
has
not much.
increased
Yeah.
significantly. But
Mm.
the thing is that India, the most problematic thing in research is that your fellowship has been sanctioned, but it will not be given to you in a regular basis. You qualify for any nationalized entrance exam, the funding agency will not release the fellowship in a regular basis. And if a person is coming from a medium means mediocre background or lower background, it is very difficult him to survive in that 5 years if your money is not coming in that basis.
True.
It is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Mm.
That is the problem. So to survive for 5 years or 6 years during your PhD, at least your family background will should be good. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
Okay. And can you share some moment when you overcame a significant challenge, either professionally or personally, especially related to, moving to a different country, or adjusting to new environments? How challenging was it?
It was really challenging. When I was in India, I was in my comfort zone. It was very good and it was very, very, what I can tell. It is very lucrative to do research and it was very pleasant also. And NIPGR was the best institute I have ever done my research in India because the funding was very nice. The environment was really helping nature and people are very friendly in nature. But when I moved to US, suddenly I felt that there was a hell and heaven difference in the research methodology, in the means in day-to-day research career. Even 8 to 9 hours or 10 hours research in the lab because there are so many work at a single time, and your PI always wants you to be multitasking. You are not working in a single project. You are working in a 10 different projects and 10 different ideas you have to give at a single time. And today you have done a research in rice in the morning, and you are studying the rice interaction with for certain pathogen, and in the evening you will be asked to give a report on the Arabidopsis plants which were on combined stress on salt and drought for a particular gene response, and you will be completely second because you are doing a particular one project in the morning, and in the afternoon you will be asked a different project. So this is two completely different. So in US, the research nature is completely different, the environment is completely different, and the pressure is immense. That I want to say here in this podium, that the pressure is completely heavy and it's very immense, and you have to cope up with that within certain period of time, otherwise you will be ruled out. It's very
And then how
difficult.
do you cope up with work-life balance? Like everyone keeps talking about work-life balance these days. So
So
presently, how do you
in
cope
post,
up with it?
no, that is people will say, but in postdoctoral research in United States, you cannot cope up with work-life balance. I have people seen people, Chinese people work like machines. They work from morning 7 o'clock to night 12 o'clock without doing anything. They just work like insects. So, people from India felt it very difficult to work in that US lab. But slowly, according to means when you see that people, those people who are working so hard, so you will learn something and you will adjust to that environment. Then you will cope up with that research and you will work. But from the beginning, you cannot cope up with, means you cannot work like them because it's very difficult. Their nature of work is completely different from our nature of work. We take breakfast, we take lunch, we take snacks, we take dinner during our entire day. But not Chinese people don't do like that. They come from the morning, eat noodles, work from morning 7 o'clock to 2 o'clock, again eat noodles, work till 7 o'clock, again eat noodles, work like 10 till 11 o'clock, then go and sleep. So I have seen people like that. So Chinese people work like machines. You cannot compete with them. It's very difficult.
So has there been an impact of AI in biotechnology or especially in the research field, or has it like improved anything, or still like it's a long way to go? Has it impacted anything at all?
Uh, Now AI is playing a major role in every sector. But in life science and biotechnology, the impact of AI is not that much serious like IT. Still, it is giving some impact on the biotechnology field. We can see and we can wait in next few years what is happening. It is very early to say now AI is impacting biotechnology, but in agriculture, AI is playing a
I know
significant role. So we
theoretically
can
it has
wait.
a lot of impact, but since you are doing a lots of
Yeah,
hands-on, right? Yeah, theoretically I know
yeah.
that they're doing quite a significant job, but that's all on the papers. Actually, when it comes to producing something, so still you have to go back to the people working in the labs. They have to extract, or they have to create the sequence, and then they have to come up with something. So still, you're saying it's still quite a distance way to go.
We have to wait for another 5 6 years. We cannot
Okay.
tell now because still it has been done by people, human beings, and we have to wait.
And I mean, we both come from the same city, right? We both come
Yeah,
from the same city, almost from the same background,
university.
and I mean, kind of similar journey. You went to a bigger city, and from there you went to a bigger city. So, what do you miss the most?
The most important thing I have missed is my family. When I moved to US, it is almost 5 to 6 years. I have not been to India, so I am completely missing my family. And also, most of the time I felt that time is running very fast in United States compared to India. But in India, it was very slow. We observed a lot of festivals, so all those things. But in US, everything is lost and time is running very fast. And with the time, you have to cope with them. That's the biggest problem here.